Urgent warning. Archangel Michael says, you are about to lose your once-in-a-lifetime blessing. God is calling you. Open this immediately to avoid divine disappointment. I, Michael, the Archangel, speak to you now. Not by chance, not by coincidence, but by divine appointment. This message has found you because heaven has sounded the alarm over your life. The trumpet has been blown in the Spirit, and your name has been spoken in the courts of the Most High. There is a heavenly urgency surrounding you, for you stand at the edge of something ordained before time began, a once-in-a-lifetime blessing, a divine inheritance that heaven has held in safekeeping for you. But listen closely, beloved soul, the gates of destiny are trembling, and the sands in the hourglass are almost spent. The Father's voice echoes through eternity, saying, do not delay again. For if you hesitate now, you risk stepping out of alignment with divine timing, and the blessing prepared for you may pass to another. The angels have gathered, watching to see how you will respond. This moment is not ordinary. It is the turning of a season, the crossing of a threshold, the awakening of your appointed hour. I have been sent to remind you that what heaven has written cannot be erased, but it can be delayed, it can be forfeited through unbelief, distraction, or fear. The enemy knows this, and he has been working to cloud your discernment, to make you numb to the holy urgency of this moment. Yet heaven is shouting your name. God is calling you back into position, back to your altar, your prayer, your obedience, your faith. Do not ignore this call, for what you are about to lose is not something you can find again. This blessing carries a divine signature. It bears your name upon it. I come not to frighten you, but to awaken you, to stir the embers of your faith before they grow cold. Hear me now. The clock of heaven is ticking, and this message is your final summons to rise. Type I am awake in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 777 is now surrounding you. I, Michael, the Archangel, speak again with the fire of heaven upon my lips. Before the stars were flung into the sky, and before light first kissed the face of creation, your name was written in the scrolls of destiny. In those scrolls are the plans of your life, the promises, the purposes, the blessings crafted by the hand of God Himself. Nothing that you are called to be was born from accident. Every divine gift placed inside you was preordained before you breathed your first breath. I tell you this truth so that you may understand the weight of what stands before you now. You are not fighting for something ordinary. You are fighting for what heaven already approved long ago. The blessing I speak of is not merely a reward or random favor. It is a divine inheritance, sealed in heavenly ink, carrying the fragrance of eternity. It is the moment where what was written in heaven begins to manifest upon the earth. Yet, many never see it come to pass because they fail to recognize when heaven's clock strikes their appointed hour. You, child of light, are now standing in that hour. The scroll bearing your name has been opened in the courts of God, and the angels have been sent to bring forth what was delayed. But heaven waits for your agreement. Heaven waits for your yes. For divine manifestation always requires human alignment. There are battles written in your story that only you could face, because within those battles lay the key to your elevation. Some of the pain you endured was not punishment, it was preparation. The enemy saw your scroll long ago and set his traps accordingly. Every delay, every disappointment, every betrayal was designed to push you out of alignment so that you would forget the truth of who you are. Yet still, you stand. You are listening now because the divine call has found you again. Heaven has not given up on you, even when you felt abandoned by heaven. I have seen the scrolls. I have seen what the Father intends to release through your obedience. It is more than provision, more than promotion. It is purpose. You are to be a vessel through which many shall see light again. But this blessing cannot fall into the hands of the unready. It is holy. It is precise. It comes at the cost of surrender. You cannot hold on to the ways of the past and still grasp the promises of the future. The old must fall away for the new to rise. I speak this not as judgment, but as mercy, because heaven would rather warn you than watch you weep over what was lost. You must understand, there are angels who carry scrolls of fulfillment. They move only when commanded by divine obedience. When you act in faith, you authorize heaven to move. When you doubt or delay, you silence their movement. Even now, I feel the shifting of realms around you. The seal upon your scroll trembles, awaiting the sound of your obedience. Do not let fear keep you silent. Do not let the illusion of time deceive you. For the window is narrow, and once it closes, it may not open again in this lifetime. This is why I have been sent, to awaken you to the magnitude of this hour. The blessing that was written in the scrolls is not just about you. It is tied to generations. Your obedience will unlock doors for those yet unborn. Your yes will heal bloodlines, restore what was lost, and bring balance to places where chaos has reigned. That is why the warfare against you has been so intense. The enemy fears what will happen when you finally walk in the fullness of what heaven decreed. Do not delay, child of the kingdom. Heaven has already decided your victory. The scroll has already been written. What remains is your alignment, your faith, your response to the divine call. I am standing beside you, sword drawn, guarding the promise until you take your rightful place in the story heaven has authored. But remember this, the scroll cannot be sealed again once the time of manifestation has passed. You are standing in a holy moment where the eternal meets the earthly. Choose obedience, and the blessing written long ago will finally unfold before your eyes. Type I am ready in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 888 has been released over your destiny. I speak to you from the fire of divine purpose, carrying a message that trembles with urgency. Heaven has spoken your name. It has echoed through realms unseen, stirring angels into motion. You may have felt it, a sudden restlessness, a gentle stirring deep within your soul. That is not coincidence. It is the voice of God calling you by name, summoning you to stand where destiny awaits. This is not a casual invitation. It is a summons from eternity itself. You have asked for signs. You have prayed for confirmation. You have cried out, Lord, if this is you, speak clearly to me. And now heaven responds. The very reason you are hearing these words is because heaven has orchestrated this moment. The Father's call has reached you again. You are not forgotten. You are being pursued by divine mercy. For there is something written for your life that cannot remain dormant any longer. The call of God does not always come in thunder or fire. It often arrives in silence, in the still pull that says, return. It whispers through closed doors, through sudden endings, through quiet dissatisfaction with the life that no longer fits who you are becoming. When God calls you by name, everything around you begins to shift. Relationships change, comfort zones shake, familiar patterns lose their power. Heaven begins to reorder your surroundings so that you cannot remain where you once were. This is what has been happening to you. It is not confusion. It is divine repositioning. God is realigning you because your season has changed. The old doors are closing because the new has been authorized to open. Yet heaven will not move until you do. The call demands response. Your obedience is the key that unlocks the blessing waiting just beyond this threshold. Listen closely. Heaven's tone has shifted. The season of gentle nudges has ended. The season of urgent summoning has begun. You stand at the edge of divine disappointment or divine fulfillment. What happens next depends on your response. There are angels ready to move at your command, but they wait for your surrender. They cannot carry out what you do not agree with. The word of the Lord over your life has matured. It is ready to manifest. But the longer you delay, the more the window narrows. God is calling you because His plan cannot unfold without your yes. Your voice, your purpose, your presence are part of a divine pattern that affects others beyond yourself. You were chosen to be a carrier of light in dark places. There are lives waiting to be touched by your obedience. There are blessings assigned to your movement. The delay in your answer has delayed the release of others' miracles. This is why heaven's call has grown louder. It is no longer just about you. You must decide now. The Father's heart is tender, but time is sacred. Every delay carries weight. Do not let fear disguise itself as wisdom, nor hesitation pretend to be caution. The blessing that bears your name cannot rest where doubt resides. You have prayed for open doors. Heaven has opened them, but you must walk through. The angels can hold the door, but they cannot push you in. I tell you the truth. The moment you answer, the atmosphere around you will shift. The heavy pressure you felt will lift. Clarity will flood your spirit. The confusion, the stagnation, the waiting, it will all make sense. For when God calls you by name, everything He has promised begins to awaken. And when you say yes, divine alignment rushes in like a river breaking its banks. This is your moment. Heaven has called. How will you respond? Do not turn away. Do not silence the tug in your heart. For to delay this moment is to risk losing what you have been waiting for all along. Respond, and watch heaven move. Type "I answer the call" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 911 is now in motion over your life. When heaven calls, it not only awakens destinies, it sends light across the earth. Every word you hear here is a spark of that light, carried on the wings of obedience. This mission is not the work of man. It is the movement of God's heart reaching souls who have grown weary in silence. When you give, you are not funding a platform. You are fueling a prophetic fire that rescues lives from the edge of despair. The Word says, "He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed." As you stand with us through Super Thanks, channel membership, or through PayPal link in the video description, you are sowing into divine awakening. Your seed becomes oil that keeps this message flowing, reaching those who need to hear that God has not forgotten them. I speak blessing over every giver now. May your obedience be remembered in the books of heaven, and may your generosity open doors that no enemy can close. This is your divine act of partnership with light. Move while the anointing is flowing. Sow now, and let heaven multiply your faith. Move with heaven. Give as you have received. Let your seed speak louder than delay. From the heart of the heavenly realm, I speak to you as the sounds of war echo through the corridors of eternity. You must understand this truth. Every blessing carries a battle. Every divine promise attracts resistance. The greater the assignment upon your life, the greater the warfare surrounding it. You have felt the pressure because your destiny has been noticed in both realms. Heaven has marked you for favor, but hell has marked you for interference. The war for your blessing is real. The unseen world is not silent. The heavens move with intensity whenever the hand of God stretches toward a believer who is about to walk into purpose. The enemy fears that moment more than anything, because Once a chosen one steps into divine alignment, the ripple shakes the kingdom of darkness. That is why, even before your blessing manifests, you feel the storm rise around you. Confusion increases. Relationships break. Resources dry up. Peace becomes fragile. It is not coincidence. It is common. You are standing on a spiritual battlefield, and I have been sent to open your eyes to the truth of what surrounds you. The enemy has released a flood of distraction, frustration, and weariness, hoping you will surrender before you see victory. But hear me clearly. You are closer to breakthrough than you think. The darkness intensifies right before it breaks. What you are facing now is not punishment. It is proof that heaven's promise is at the door. Every angel assigned to your life is in position. The sound of intercession is rising from the earth, and the Father has commanded that your inheritance not be stolen. Yet this is the law of spiritual warfare. Angels fight when faith is active. When you doubt, the sword falls silent. When you speak faith, the sword ignites with flame. Your agreement with heaven strengthens our hand. Every word you release in trust becomes a command in the spirit, breaking through resistance that once seemed immovable. Understand this. Warfare is not about destruction. It is about transfer. The enemy seeks to delay what heaven has decreed, but he cannot deny it. Every attack has a purpose: to test your endurance, to prove your faith, to push you into deeper surrender. When you stand firm in prayer, you disarm hell's last weapon, fear. When you declare God's promises, you reestablish your authority. You are not a victim of warfare. You are the reason it began. You carry the seed of divine transformation, and hell trembles because of it. Look closely at the patterns in your life. The moment you move toward obedience, distractions appear. The moment you draw closer to prayer, chaos rises. This is no accident. These are attempts to steal your focus. The enemy fears your clarity because clarity births action, and action births manifestation. The blessing written for you is not lost. It is being contended for. The battlefield is your mind, your emotions, your faith. Guard them fiercely. You are not alone. The host of heaven surrounds you. I have fought beside saints before you, warriors of old who refused to bow to fear. They conquered not because the battle was easy, but because they refused to quit. I tell you this now. The same power that upheld them is available to you. You do not fight for victory. You fight from victory. It has already been decreed. The outcome is written. The storm you face will not end in defeat but in deliverance. But you must hold the line. Pray when you feel nothing. Worship when you are weary. Declare light even when darkness mocks your hope. Your persistence becomes the roar that shakes the heavens. The enemy cannot outlast a believer who refuses to quit. The moment you stand in faith, angels advance. The moment you speak life, chains break. You are not waiting for heaven. Heaven is waiting for you to believe. The battle is fierce, yes, but the blessing is worth it. What is being fought over is sacred. It will bless generations. It will redeem time. It will reveal the glory of God through your life. So lift your head, warrior of light. Sharpen your faith. You are not fighting alone. Heaven fights with you, and your victory has already been signed in the blood of the Lamb. Type "I will not surrender" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1444 has been released for divine strength and victory. The realm of light has revealed much to me, and I must speak plainly now. There is a force, ancient, cunning, subtle, that has crept into many lives unnoticed. It is the spirit of delay, and it moves like mist in the dark. You do not see it enter, but you feel its weight. It slows progress, clouds conviction, and whispers one poisonous word, later. That one word has stolen more blessings than open sin ever has. It is not loud. It is patient. It is strategic. It knows that if it cannot stop you, it will simply make you wait until your faith grows tired. Child of heaven, this is what has been happening around you. You start to pray, and distractions arise. You begin to fast, and unexpected chaos interrupts. You set your heart to obey, and suddenly confusion finds you. The spirit of delay feeds on distraction, and distraction feeds on your attention. It does not always come through evil things. Sometimes it comes through busy things. Endless scrolling. Constant noise. Worry that fills your thoughts. It is the art of keeping you occupied with everything except the one thing that matters, your divine assignment. This is how delay disguises itself as normal life. It makes you believe there is always more time. It lulls the spirit into spiritual sleep until your awareness dulls and your discernment fades. Heaven calls that the sound competes with 1,000 lesser voices. The trap is simple. If the enemy can keep you distracted, he doesn't need to defeat you. If he can keep your eyes fixed on the temporary, you will never reach the eternal. I have seen mighty ones fall to this deception. Their promises were ready. Their angels were in position, but their focus wandered. They missed divine appointments because they were not spiritually alert. The blessing came knocking, but their hearts were elsewhere. And when they finally realized what was lost, the moment had passed. That is why this warning is being delivered to you now. Heaven is offering clarity before regret. Understand this. Delay is not always denial. Sometimes it is the result of spiritual misalignment. When you hesitate to obey, heaven pauses its movement. When you return to obedience, the flow resumes. The courts of heaven are perfectly timed. When you move in sync with divine rhythm, what took years can manifest in moments. But the moment you step out of rhythm through distraction, the music stops. There are 3 great weapons against the spirit of delay: focus, faith, and fasting. Focus brings clarity. Fix your eyes on what God said, not what you feel. Faith brings acceleration. When you act in faith, angels move faster. Fasting breaks the power of noise. It silences the flesh so that the spirit may hear again. The spirit of delay cannot survive where discipline and devotion dwell. You must guard your atmosphere. Every distraction is a thief of momentum. Set boundaries for your mind. Protect your peace as you would protect treasure. Every day, reclaim your focus by declaring, "I will not be delayed." Let that declaration rise like a sword in the spirit. When you speak it, the fog begins to lift, and your timeline begins to correct itself. Hear me clearly. The enemy is terrified of a believer who is focused. Because focus births completion, and completion brings manifestation. Do not allow your mind to wander into fear or fatigue. Keep your gaze fixed on the promise. Your consistency will crush the spirit of delay. Your prayer will paralyze its schemes. Your obedience will dismantle its networks. Right now, as these words are released, I feel angels repositioning. The chains of delay that wrapped around your path are breaking. The calendar of heaven is being rewritten in your favor. What was slowed will now accelerate. What was pending will now appear. The trap of distraction is losing its power. The light of focus is returning to your spirit. The moment you lift your eyes back to the divine purpose, the spirit of delay flees. This is your call to awaken. Your blessing is not lost. It's waiting for your focus to return. The time for delay is over. The time for manifestation is now. Type "no more delay" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing Go 2222 has been released for divine acceleration. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when heaven stands still, waiting for a decision that only you can make. This is that moment. The winds of destiny have gathered, and the throne room has fallen silent to see what you will choose. Every warning you've received, every sign you've sensed, every word that has stirred your heart, all of it has led to this point. You stand at a divine crossroads where one path leads to release and the other to regret. I speak to you now not as a distant messenger, but as a guardian of divine timing. The Father's call has reached its final echo. Heaven has arranged this intersection in your life for one holy reason: to draw a line between hesitation and obedience. There is no more someday. The word of the Lord for you now is now. Delay has expired. The door that stood open will not remain open forever. Every destiny has its appointed hour, and yours is here. This is the turning point where your heart must choose whom it will serve. Not in words, but in will. The power of choice is sacred. It is the only thing even heaven will not override. Your yes has power. It activates angelic movement. It releases the stored blessings waiting in your name. Your no has weight. It creates delay, silence, and distance from what was meant to be released. Do not underestimate the power of this moment. The next chapter of your life is waiting for your answer. The turning point always comes disguised as tension. That is why you have felt pulled in two directions. One side whispers comfort, safety, routine. The other calls for surrender, risk, and trust. But understand this truth: comfort is the enemy of calling. You cannot walk into the new while clinging to the old. The reason you feel such internal battle is because your spirit recognizes that you have outgrown your last season. Heaven is calling you higher, and the old ground cannot hold you any longer. Do not mistake this moment for emotional stirring. This is divine confrontation. Heaven is asking, will you trust me beyond what you understand? The blessing you are about to lose is tied to your answer. The longer you hesitate, the dimmer the light becomes. But when you step in faith, light multiplies. Every step toward obedience brings fresh illumination, fresh favor, fresh fire. This decision is not about perfection. It is about surrender. God does not expect you to have it all figured out. He only asks that you move when He calls. One act of obedience can reverse years of delay. One moment of surrender can open doors that were locked for decades. The divine scroll written for your life is waiting for your yes to be signed. The angels assigned to your promise are waiting for your voice to align with heaven's decree. I see many who are on the edge of breakthrough, but afraid of what obedience will cost. Hear me. What you lose in comfort, you will gain in glory. What you release in fear, you will receive in favor. Heaven never asks you to give up what matters. It asks you to release what hinders. The turning point is not about loss. It is about liberation. If you could see what is waiting on the other side of obedience, you would not hesitate another second. For every act of surrender is recorded in heaven's book of remembrance. Every tear you've cried in trust becomes a seed for harvest. Every moment of faith releases new authority. The time has come for you to decide. No one can choose for you. Heaven has already voted in your favor. The outcome depends on your response. This is your holy moment. The turning point is here. Choose life. Choose obedience. Choose God's will. For when you do, you will see that the blessing you almost lost becomes the testimony you will never forget. Type "I choose obedience" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3333 is now active for divine clarity and decision. Time is not what it seems to be. To the eyes of the world, it ticks in seconds and hours. But to heaven, time is measured by obedience and readiness. Every promise has a season. Every destiny has a divine schedule. And right now, I must tell you, the clock of heaven is moving over your life. The seconds of delay are being counted, and the appointed hour is nearing completion. What heaven prepared long ago is pressing against the veil, waiting for your alignment to release it into the natural. In the courts of eternity, there are moments when heaven declares, the time has come. When that decree is spoken, everything begins to shift. People, places, opportunities, and even circumstances start to align with God's order. You may feel as though things are falling apart, but in truth, they are falling into place. What feels like chaos is divine orchestration. The doors closing around you are not rejection. They are redirection, ensuring you stand in the precise location heaven designed for your release. But hear this warning. Divine timing is both a gift and a test. When heaven's clock strikes your appointed hour, what you do next determines manifestation or loss. Heaven cannot wait forever. Prophetic timing is sacred. It opens for a season and then closes to make way for another. That is why you must awaken now. The Father's voice is crying through this message. Move while grace is present. When the window of favor opens, everything becomes easier. Your prayers accelerate, your steps find power, your words carry weight. But when that window closes, even small tasks become heavy and delayed. You have felt it before, that sudden wave of clarity, that unexpected peace, that inner knowing that says, now is the moment. That was heaven's timing touching your spirit. Many ignored that whisper and missed their visitation. Do not let that happen to you again. The Spirit of God is synchronizing your life to divine time. He is pulling you out of seasons that no longer serve your growth and aligning you with His appointed purpose. Understand this truth. Heaven operates in perfect rhythm. Every event in your life has been divinely ordered. Your trials, your victories, your delays, and even your disappointments. Nothing has been wasted. Every closed door was preparing your hands for the right one. Every unanswered prayer was developing the endurance needed for this hour. Divine timing never denies. It refines. It teaches you to discern the holy moment when heaven says, go. There are signs when divine timing is near. Restlessness increases. Old patterns no longer satisfy. What used to make sense now feels small. These are not signs of confusion, they are contractions of birth. Heaven is trying to deliver what has matured within you. You are standing in prophetic labor. The longer you resist, the greater the pressure becomes. But when you surrender, breakthrough bursts forth like dawn breaking through the longest night. Listen carefully. Heaven's clock does not move with human schedules. It moves with obedience. The moment you align, divine timing activates. Delays break. Paths clear. The right people appear. Provision flows from unexpected places. When you move in God's time, everything moves with you. But if you hesitate, you risk missing alignment. That is why this message is urgent. Heaven has already begun to shift. The trumpet has sounded. The season of waiting has expired. There are blessings that can only manifest in specific seasons. If missed, they do not disappear. They move to a later time. But each delay carries consequence. Do not let your once-in-a-lifetime blessing be postponed again. The timing is holy. The moment is now. Heaven is in motion. The only question left is, will you move with it? The hourglass of heaven is almost empty, but grace still flows. Reach for it. Step forward. Say yes before the clock strikes completion. For when heaven's timing and your obedience collide, miracles become natural, and what seemed impossible becomes immediate. Type "I align with heaven's time" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 5555 is now surrounding your appointed season. The heavens have shifted. The command has gone forth. The time of silence is ending, and the armies of light are rising in formation. I have drawn my sword again, the sword of light, forged in the breath of God, blazing with the fire of divine justice. It is the weapon of deliverance, the divider between what was and what shall be. And now, that sword moves for you. You have cried, you have waited, you have wondered if heaven still hears you. But hear me now, heaven has not been still. It has been preparing. Every moment of your struggle has been building the strength of your testimony. Every tear has been counted as a seed. Every prayer has been recorded as a decree. And today, that decree is being executed. The word has gone forth. Activate the release. The angelic hosts are moving to cut away the chains that have held you back from your divine inheritance. You are not alone in this battle. Around you stands a company of warriors, angels assigned to your life, unseen but not inactive. They have fought in silence, awaiting one command, for you to believe again. Faith is the sound that releases them. When your heart says yes, when your words align with heaven, their swords ignite. They move faster than thought, cutting through barriers that have resisted you for years. What your hands could not break in the flesh, heaven will shatter in the spirit. The sword of light carries three purposes: to separate you from delay, to destroy the roots of distraction, and to defend what belongs to you. Every spiritual parasite attached to your destiny is being severed. Every curse spoken against you is being burned by divine fire. The Spirit of the Lord has declared, no more interference. The atmosphere around you is changing, even now. What once felt heavy will lift. What once seemed impossible will open. What once brought fear will now bow in surrender. You must understand what is happening. This is not imagination. This is activation. The moment heaven moves, it looks for earthly agreement. Your faith is not a suggestion. It is a command. Speak it now. I receive divine release. With those words, you draw heaven closer to earth. The sword moves with greater precision when faith is spoken without hesitation. You are stepping into a supernatural alignment, one where prayers meet performance and promises meet manifestation. The sword I wield shines brighter when truth is spoken. So speak truth, child of God. Say, I am not forgotten. I am not behind. I am not defeated. I am still chosen. Each declaration weakens the grip of darkness and strengthens the hand of heaven. Every angel surrounding you is listening for your command. You do not need to shout, just believe. The realm of light responds to conviction, not volume. I have been sent to guard what heaven has written for you. You are marked for victory, not loss. You will not miss your moment again. As the sword of light moves, expect acceleration. Expect restoration. Expect divine surprises. What took years will now take days. What was denied will now be released. This is the hour of angelic activation. The word of the Lord is clear. The war has shifted in your favor. The enemy's grip has been broken. The assignment of delay has been canceled. What heaven promised will now find you. You are stepping into divine momentum, the kind that cannot be reversed. Type "I activate my angels" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7777 is now ignited for supernatural release. The angels move when faith moves, and this message carries heaven's urgency for our generation. What you are hearing is more than prophecy. It is participation in divine movement. Each word spoken here is a spark from heaven's altar, reaching those who need deliverance, clarity, and hope. When you give, you are not funding a broadcast. You are fueling angelic assignments to reach more souls across the world. Every seed sown through Super Thanks, channel membership, or through PayPal, the link in the video description, becomes divine oil, keeping the sword of light active across nations. This is how heaven expands its reach, through obedient hearts who act when called. As you give, I speak a decree over you. May the same angels assigned to protect this word surround your household. May doors open swiftly, may restoration visit your name, and may heaven remember your obedience in the days to come. Do not wait. Activate your faith through giving. Heaven's fire moves through action. When you give into light, the light within you multiplies. So now, and let your offering speak louder than your fear. The heavens have spoken, and now I bring you into the mystery of restoration, the divine art by which God reclaims what time and circumstance have stolen. Many believe that once a blessing is lost, it is gone forever. But I tell you, nothing written by the hand of God can ever truly be erased. It can be delayed, hidden, or buried beneath seasons of silence, but it cannot be destroyed. What was meant for you still bears your name. And now, heaven has declared, restore. The Father has opened the ancient vaults where your lost opportunities, forgotten prayers, and delayed promises were kept in waiting. The angels are retrieving what was misplaced, gathering fragments of destiny that you thought were gone forever. The restoration of heaven is not partial. It is complete. It does not just return what was lost, it multiplies it. When God restores, He repays with interest. When heaven returns a blessing, it carries new oil, new strength, and new wisdom. You have cried over lost years, lost relationships, lost peace, lost purpose. But the time of mourning is ending. The years the locusts have eaten are being reborn in power. What you thought was wasted time was actually training time. The Father allowed certain things to fall away so that your spirit could be strengthened. Now, the very things that once broke you will become proof of your resilience. Heaven is not bringing back what was taken. It is bringing back what has been transformed. Understand this. The enemy never steals without leaving a trail. Heaven follows that trail. Every stone opportunity has a spiritual fingerprint, and the moment God says, restore, angels trace those fingerprints through time, pulling every lost piece back into divine order. Even now, the ledger of restoration is being balanced in your favor. Everything that left your life unjustly will return divinely. What was unfairly withheld will be released with acceleration. Some of you have been haunted by regret, saying, if only I had moved sooner, if only I had obeyed when I should have. Hear me now. Grace redeems wasted moments. The God who rules eternity is not bound by time. When you repent, time bends to obedience. When you align with heaven, lost opportunities reappear. The Father can compress years of delay into a single act of favor. Do not believe the lie that it is too late. You serve the one who makes all things new. This is not mere comfort, it is decree. Restoration is not an idea, it is a move of heaven's justice. The Lord has seen what was taken from you, and He has written your recompense. There are blessings returning that you forgot you ever prayed for. There are doors reopening that were once shut without explanation. There are people being moved into your path who will carry the answers you've long awaited. When heaven restores, it orchestrates the impossible. But hear this truth carefully. You must remain positioned. Restoration comes to those who are present in the moment of visitation. Stay alert. Stay in faith. When you sense peace returning, speak gratitude aloud. It is the sound that seals restoration. When you see old opportunities reappear, act quickly. It is proof that time has been redeemed. When joy floods your spirit for no reason, know this. Heaven is restoring what grief once stole. The blessing you thought was lost forever is breathing again. What you believed had died has only been sleeping, waiting for the trumpet of restoration to sound. That trumpet is sounding now. The angels are on assignment, returning treasures from every dark corner where the enemy hid them. This is not random. It is your divine repayment. The once-in-a-lifetime blessing you almost lost is being rewritten into your present. Heaven is declaring over you, what was delayed shall now manifest. Lift your eyes, for restoration is not coming. It has begun. Type "I receive divine restoration" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing Note 1212 is now released for recovered time and multiplied favor. There is a mark upon those chosen by heaven, invisible to the eyes of men, but radiant in the spirit. It is not the mark of status, wealth, or fame. It is the mark of divine assignment. You carry it even now. That is why the enemy has fought you so fiercely. That is why the storms have been relentless. Hell does not waste energy on the unmarked. The pressure around your life is the proof of your calling. You were chosen before the foundations of the world were set in place. The blueprint of your destiny was sealed within the heart of God, and you were released into this generation as an answer to a divine problem. You are not here by chance. You are not ordinary. You are a carrier of something holy, a living vessel designed to manifest the light of heaven in a darkened age. The mark upon you distinguishes you, not for comfort, but for combat. Those who bear heaven's seal are called to carry heaven's purpose. Many have looked at your life and misunderstood your journey. They saw delay and thought it was defeat. They saw isolation and thought it was rejection. The isolation was consecration. Rejection was redirection. Heaven hid you, not because you were unworthy, but because you were unfinished. The oil upon your life was still being refined. The mark of the chosen cannot be rushed. It must be forged through fire. Every trial you endured was heaven shaping you into the vessel you were meant to become. Those marked by divine assignment walk a narrow path. They are misunderstood by the world because they live by a different rhythm. When others chase comfort, they chase purpose. When others seek applause, they seek obedience. Their hunger is not for approval, but for alignment. This is why you have often felt out of place, because you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out. The light within you will always conflict with the darkness around you, but that light is your identity. Never hide it again. There is a new oil being poured upon the chosen ones of this hour. It is oil for impact, for revelation, for endurance. Those who bear the mark will carry words that awaken others, prayers that open doors, and faith that moves mountains. The Lord is raising a remnant, men and women who will not bow to fear or compromise truth. You are among them. That is why the enemy targeted your peace, your confidence, your clarity. He wanted you to forget who you are. But I tell you, you are remembered. Heaven still calls you chosen. The mark of the chosen also carries responsibility. When you carry divine assignment, you must protect your purity of purpose. Not everyone can walk with you. Not every voice deserves your attention. Guard your anointing. Do not allow distractions to dim your flame. When heaven entrusts a mission, it demands discipline. You are a vessel of power. Live like one. Speak like one. Pray like one. Move like one who knows angels respond when you call. Your assignment is larger than you imagine. It will touch lives you may never meet. Every act of obedience sends ripples into eternity. Every word of truth spoken in faith becomes seed that grows long after you are gone. You are not just living, you are legacy in motion. The mark upon you identifies you as a carrier of divine influence. When you speak, atmospheres shift. When you pray, strongholds break. When you worship, realms respond. That is the authority of the chosen. Do not shrink from this truth. The world may not understand it, but heaven depends on it. You were sent to be light, not a flicker that fades, but a flame that endures. The mark upon your life is not a burden. It is a badge of divine trust. Walk boldly, for your presence in this generation is prophetic. You are not one among many. You are one sent for purpose. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you received this message. Blessing code 4444 is now upon those marked for divine purpose. This is the moment when heaven speaks its final decree over your season. The scroll of destiny is open, and the ink of grace is still wet, waiting for your obedience to complete the sentence written in your name. Everything has led to this point. Every warning, every whisper, every wave of divine pressure upon your heart. The time of wavering has passed. The decree has been released. Obey now, or lose what was prepared. Hear this clearly. The heavens are not speaking in riddles. The command is simple, yet its weight is eternal. The Father has declared, "My people must move when I move." Obedience is the bridge between prophecy and manifestation. Without obedience, the blessing remains only potential, never reality. You cannot pray for what you are unwilling to walk into. You cannot ask for divine release while clinging to human hesitation. Heaven honors action, not excuses. I speak to you as the angel of war and light. This is not condemnation, it is correction. The window is still open, but it is closing. The Father's mercy delays the seal for a short time, but the final trumpet of decision is sounding. The word has gone forth across the realms. Those who hear, let them respond. The blessing you are about to lose is not small. It is generational. Your obedience will not only change your life, it will shift the lives of those connected to your name. You have been waiting for a sign. This is your sign. You have asked heaven to confirm what you already knew in your spirit. This is your confirmation. The call to obedience is not about convenience. It is about covenant. Every great move of God begins with one word, yes. Abraham said yes and became the father of nations. Moses said yes and became the deliverer of his people. Mary said yes and carried the Word made flesh. And now, heaven waits for your yes. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. There is power in swift obedience. When you move quickly in response to God's voice, the delay that once held you loses its authority. Every act of surrender breaks a curse. Every step of faith activates angelic alignment. The moment you obey, heaven begins to reorder your timeline. This is not theory. It is divine law. Obedience is currency in the kingdom, and those who walk in it never walk in lack. But disobedience has its price. When heaven speaks and you turn away, your spirit becomes heavy. Opportunities pass unnoticed. Doors close quietly. The flow of favor begins to thin. Not because God is cruel, but because his system cannot operate through rebellion. Every act of delay rewrites destiny in slower ink. Heaven will never override your will, but it will honor your choices. That is why this moment matters more than you realize. I tell you this in truth. Obedience is the language of heaven. It speaks louder than prayer, louder than worship, louder than fear. It is the sound that commands angels, the key that opens gates, the signature that seals promises. When your heart says yes and your hands move with conviction, you become unstoppable. The power of heaven flows through those who obey without argument. So now, I deliver the prophetic decree over you. You are being summoned to act. Step out of hesitation and into faith. Lay down your fear. Return to the place of assignment. Break every unholy tie that keeps you anchored to delay. Walk through the door that has been standing open, waiting for your courage. This is the final call. The heavens are recording your response. The Father's eyes are upon you, not in wrath, but in expectation. The time for reasoning has ended. The time for responding has begun. When you obey, the once-in-a-lifetime blessing that hovered above your life will descend. What you almost lost will find you again, perfected by grace and sealed by obedience. Type "I obey" now in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 9999 is now active for prophetic fulfillment and divine acceleration. The heaven stands still, and I speak this final word over you, the word of completion. The decree has been spoken, the warning has been given, and the invitation has been extended. Now, as you choose obedience, heaven marks this moment in eternity. You are no longer standing on the edge of blessing. You are stepping into it. What was once delayed is now released. What was once hidden is now revealed. The fire of God's presence surrounds you. It refines, but it does not destroy. It burns away doubt, fear, and hesitation until only purity remains. This is the seal of divine obedience, when a soul says yes and heaven responds with fire. You are being marked by that flame now. It will go before you, behind you, and within you. Wherever you walk, favor will recognize your name. Every blessing you almost lost is returning multiplied. Every closed door that belonged to you is unlocking. Every angel assigned to your path is being reactivated. This is the hour of fulfillment. The Father smiles upon your surrender, and the Spirit rests upon your faith. The words written in the scrolls of your destiny are now coming alive. The battle is over. The delay is broken. The call has been answered. Walk boldly, for obedience has opened what fear once closed. The fire that seals you today will guard your tomorrow. You are covered, chosen, and carried by the will of God. Type "I am sealed in obedience" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 0007 is now active over your destiny. As this word seals your spirit, remember, every message spoken here is more than sound. It is seed. And every seed must be watered. When you give, you do not just support a voice. you sustain a divine assignment that is awakening hearts across nations. Heaven moves through partnership, and your obedience keeps this flame alive. When you sow through Super Thanks, channel membership, or through PayPal, the link in the video description, you become part of this prophetic movement. You are helping this light reach the souls who are still standing at their own turning point, waiting for a word that will save their blessing. As you give, may heaven record your name among those who stood for light. May your offering speak louder than the plans of the enemy. May the same fire that seals this word surround your home, your family, and your future. So now, and heaven will remember your name in the book of reward.